Right, so we've only got 2 more cables now to pull through. I've got most of the solar cables through from the attic now, above here in the barn. Just got two more neutral cables. I actually ran out of trunking, making sure I'm putting all of this in trunking where it goes along the top wall of the barn, because we do have mice and things up there and birds, and it's pretty resilient, this cable, but I think it's a good idea to put it in trunking. So what I'm going to do this morning is get all this lot hooked up, and then later on I'm going to go to the store, get some more trunking, lay those final 2 cables. Then we can get those final 2 cables hooked up here to the combiner boxes, and then I can then put the MC4 connectors on the other ends of the cable and hook them up, and then hopefully we can then get some voltage here at the breakers. So let's get on with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut these cable ties off. There we go. Now I made these cables too long because I didn't want any chance of them being too short. That would be a disaster. And I do have my nicely heat shrinked on cables here telling me which string each cable is. So I think what I will do is I will pull these through to the correct position and then print out a new cable and heat shrink a new label on so that the cables are still actually labeled. I think that's really important just for future use. Just makes everything a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start here with string 1, string 2, string 3, and then string 4. By the way, a lot of people commented in the comment boxes, these aren't combiner boxes. I'm just calling them combiner boxes. The reason people say they're not combiner boxes is because I'm not combining anything, because I've got 2 strings of panels coming in, and then so there's like 2 inputs and 2 outputs, so there's no combination. It's just what they're called in the industry, these solar panel breaker boxes. People call them combiner boxes, a bit like people call vacuum cleaners Hoovers. So I'm just calling them combiner boxes. That's what they're actually called on the label. But we're not actually combining anything. So sorry, I had a lot of comments about that. What should I be calling these? Should I just be calling these breaker panels then? Or solar breaker panels? Or anyway, I'm just calling them combiner boxes. So first of all, we want string 1 and 2. So that's a string 2 cable. Let's see, what else do we have here? So that's a string 4, string 3, string 1. So those are our 2 string 1 cables. And what are these neutrals? String 1 and string 2. Great, so we've got the lives in neutral for string 1 and 2. So those are there. So I think what I will do is pull these through. Right, so before I cut these off, I'm just going to get my label machine, print some labels up, and we'll get the sticky labels heat shrinked on. I like to label all my cables, even when they're connected in. I've been doing this in the house now as well, when I've been doing some rewiring in the house. The electrics in our house is in a terrible state. The previous owners did a terrible job, so everything I'm replacing, every plug socket, every switch in the house, I'm making sure I put like a label at each end of the cable, which is not normally done in domestic kind of wiring. But I just think it makes everything a lot easier. You know, in 10 years' time, when you have to fault find something, you know exactly where all the cables are going. I don't know, let me know your thoughts on this. I think it should be building regs that all cables are labelled. It kind of like makes sense, really. I'm amazed that it's not building regs, that you're allowed to put, you know, power cables in walls and things and have nothing labelled. It's bizarre to me. It should be mandatory that everything is labelled and there'd be a diagram. That's the other thing I did. I did a diagram and then folded it up and put it in the plug socket, and folded it up and put it in, well, not the plug socket, I put it in, you know, next to the junction box and everything, on the inside lid of the junction box and things like this, so that in the future, when I'm doing any updates, I will know exactly what's what. Anyway, I'm going to get my label machine and get some labels on. String 1 will be connected here, so I think I will... What I'm going to do is just give a little bit of slack in case I muck up cutting the cable. Always good to have a bit of extra slack. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to cut it there. Okay, so let's put it around there. There we go. String 1. I've got this clear tubing. Right, so this is the second string 1 cable, the negative cable. So again, I think I'll just give that a bit of extra slack. There we go. Okay, so we have here the neutral and the live. So I assume this is the neutral fuse where I'm going to connect in at the bottom, and the positive fuse where I'm going to connect in at the bottom. Just to be doubly sure, I'm checking with my meter. So let's just do a quick ohms test on that. Just want to be 100% sure. So, yep. I'm not sure if you can hear the bleeping. So we know that is the neutral, and then this is the live. Right, let's hook it up. Very annoyingly, normally I strip this cable with my Knipex wire strippers or wire cutters. They've got an incredibly sharp blade, and it makes stripping this cable really easy. At the moment it's 6 in the morning and it's pitch dark outside, and I left my Knipex, very expensive Knipex wire cutters upstairs in the barn on top of a very, very tall wall. And Jude, the builder, he took the ladder down yesterday afternoon to do something, and I don't want to go up there on my own in the dark to retrieve them, especially after, you know, the fact that I fell off a ladder last time I was in that room on my own. So yeah, I'm going to wait for him to arrive before I go up there to retrieve them. So just going to use a knife here to cut this. So normally I wouldn't do that. Normally I would use my nice wire cutters, which makes it so much easier to cut this cable. Right. Try these ones. They're nowhere near as good. Dear me. My wire cutters are, I'm not sure if my wire strippers will strip this cable, because it's quite tough and it's quite thick. Well, we'll give it a go on the next cable. Let's give my normal domestic wire strippers a go with this. Maybe it will, I don't know. I think it's too thick though. All right, there we go. Oh gosh, that was a struggle. Let's give these a go. I didn't get these, there's no link to these. These are just, got these in the hardware store. Let's see if these will work. Oh, okay, oh, hang on a minute. That's not worked. So there's two sleeves. There's the red outer sleeve and then there's an inner sleeve as well. So it's just taken the outer sleeve out. Oh, that's annoying. So there's still the inner sleeve. Didn't realise there was an inner sleeve as well. Maybe I can just remove that with the snips. Here we go. Hey, got it. Got there in the end. Maybe that is a bit easier actually. There we go. Don't need to use ferrules with these because these aren't actually screw terminals. There's actually a metal clamp that clamps down on the cable. So ferrules aren't really needed. So I think, yeah, it's just a metal clamp. So I'm not going to put ferrules on this cable. There we go, that's better. Right, so now it's just a rinse and repeat for stream number 2. Right, so I've got all of the solar cables in bar 2 cables. That's 2 neutral cables, which I'm going to lay later today. Ran out of trunking, got to get some more trunking today, so hopefully we should be able to get those in. Once those are in, that's all the solar cables laid. Then it's just the MC4 connectors, and then we can hook everything up and see if we can get some voltage here. Just finishing off the earthing. So I've pulled through the earthing cable here from the earthing rod. And then this cable here goes to the solar panel framing system. And now we just need to connect up both of the lightning conductors here, surge protectors down here. And then in this box here, I'm going to be putting a some sort of bus bar. I've got to find something. So the first thing we're going to do is lay some cable to here. So. Right, so I've got all the earth cables put into the combiner boxes here. Now I just need a bus bar, so I need to go to the store and get something temporary just to tie me over until I can get a proper bus bar. They don't sell like the kind of bus bars I would like in the shop, so I need to order something online. But they have something I can use temporarily, so I'll get that today from the Bric & Marché, which is the hardware store here, at the same time as getting some trunking. So I'm off now to get the bus bar and to get some trunking. And then when we get back, I'm going to fit the bus bar, and we're also going to get the final solar cables installed in the roof. It's hookup day. So today what we're going to be doing here on Gridbusters is getting some of these cables here, which we've installed on the roof here, putting some MC connectors on the ends of these cables, and hopefully by the end of the day we should start to see, well, we should hopefully get a voltage down at the combiner boxes. So I've already laid some of the cable in the roof of the barn. I didn't film that because it's like really dark up there. So what I need to do now is to put an MC4 connector on the end of this cable and on the ends of the other cables at that end there. So let's get the MC4s. So I have this little kit here. I've got a whole bunch of different MC4 connectors. But an MC4 connectors, by the way, what they are the solar panel connectors. They are completely waterproof. So this little kit, which I got on Amazon, this was from Amazon France, but you know, there are other kits available all over the world which are pretty much the same. I'll show you how this all works in a minute, but we've got our connectors there. Here are the pins. These are the little spanners which go over the top to tighten them up. Yeah, quite happy with that, and it comes with a little crimping tool there. I've made some cables up already. So the first thing we need to do is connect up one of the cables. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this to the correct length, and so I'm going to cut this trunking off here. Being very careful not to cut the cable inside. There we go. So I'm going to cut my cable here. And the solar cable at this end, it's this is the negative end, and this is a female connector. So I need a male connector to plug in. So we're going to put a male plug on the end here. Hopefully you can see this. I do apologise if you don't have a good view. And I just need to strip the cable off there. Can you see that? I think you can, yes. So I strip off about 1 centimetre on these. I've done about 4, I think 4 of these in the past, of these connectors. Practicing really. There we go. What we do is we crimp our connector on. There we go. I'm really pleased we've got a good day today. It's not pouring with rain. Well, I wouldn't be doing this if it was pouring with rain. A little bit tricky to show you this, sorry, I do apologise, but there we go. There, perfect. And we just push our connector in. Great thing about these connectors is they're waterproof, which makes life a lot easier. And they come with in the kit with these little spanners. So you tighten it around until you hear it clicking. And then you know, there you go. So that's now done. Right, so that's crimped in now. I won't connect it up because I've got to strip back the other cables and a lot of, over 300 volts going through here, so I don't want to risk getting a shock at the other end. Probably wouldn't because it's the positive and this is the negative, but you never know, I'm not sure. So I'm going to put all the connectors on, double check everything and then start hooking up. Right, the next job is to cut these cables to length. So what I'm going to do is go up the roof and get the cables cut to length, and then we can put the connectors on. I'm not going to connect anything up until I've got all the connectors on. Once we've got all the connectors terminated, then we can start hooking everything up, and then hopefully we should get a voltage in the combiner box. Right, so we want string number 2. So that's string 2. That's where the power connects here to this solar panel. This is string 2. So this cable will obviously be tucked in underneath the panels. So I'm going to go to give myself that much slack. There we go. So, a little bit longer. Goes in there like that, and then we crimp it. That is completely solid there. That then goes in there all the way. Rubber grommet goes in there, which waterproofs it. This all comes in the kit, so good little kits these, and then you turn it till it clicks and then it's waterproof. There you go, that's it. So that now is a waterproof MC4 connector. Oh, okay, that's okay. Final electrical hookup done. All the MC4 connectors are terminated. They're all plugged in now, and everything's cable tied. All the earthing is siliconed. All the covers are on the holes, which go into the roof of the barn. And now we just need to test if we've actually got any voltage into the combiner box. And this is where I'm a little bit nervous, because I have to say, when Jude and I were hooking up the panels, every now and again we'd hook up a panel and we'd move on to the next one. And then we'd actually remember we'd forgotten to daisy chain them together, and we'd have to take it off again and hook it on. And we were thinking about it this morning, Jude and I, and we were talking about it, and we thought, crikey, I hope we haven't left one out and forgotten to plug 2 together halfway along one of the strings. So I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully we should be getting sort of around 300, 350 volts, something like that from each string. So let's go to the combiner boxes and take a reading and see what we've got. Right, so we're going to take a reading from the combiner box. Everything is hooked up, so we have string 1, string 2, string 3, and string 4. So I've got my meter here, and I'm going to put it into DC. This is where I get a bit nervous and hope it works. If it doesn't work, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to fault find because everything is all hooked up. So let's test this one here and see what we have. Yay, 367 volts for string 1, or 366. Right, let's move on to string 2. So string 1 is good. And string 2, 365. Being very careful not to touch the probes because I do not want a 300 volt shock. So wake me up. Okay, string 3. 365 volts, 366 volts, great. And string 4, come on, we've got to do it, we've got to do it. String 4, yay, 367 volts. Fantastic, so we've got everything hooked up, we've got full voltage coming here to the combiner boxes, and we're all done. So yeah, it's been a massive job to get to this stage. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is moving over to the plant room and taking some readings and then getting all of the Victron equipment set up and working and programmed so that we can start powering the house. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it there. Sorry, this has been an absolutely mammothly long video. By the way, thanks so much for all of your comments. It really helps me out actually when you comment because it lets me know that you're watching the video, and also it's been so helpful getting your feedback on my solar system. So keep those comments coming, or at least just like the video. That really helps me out as well, helps the Google algorithm suggest these videos to other people. Okay guys, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll catch you next time.